Hi guys, let's resume quickly without wasting any further time. We are covering a lot of words. We are trying to cover alphabetically as many words as we can for the competitive exams that you sit for. And this is in the English section where you get questions. I'm sure multiple choice questions. You get four options and you have to choose the synonyms or the antonyms. I'll be covering the antonyms or the opposites in the next part of the course. And here we are basically just focusing on synonyms or words with similar meanings. Let's quickly resume with A. The next word here is avarice. Now, avarice is just a fancy word for greed. So that is your love for the riches, or if you know you want more of ice cream, cookies, money, anything, your heart is full of avarice, is what we say. You can look at the synonyms here: avidity or covetousness. I mean, I'm sure that when it comes in the exams, they should not be as tough as sort of words that you have to choose from, but just in case it is, these are words that you should know. Let's move on to B now. Beguile. Now, beguile is a very interesting word for me because while in synonyms I have written here that it means to mislead or to delude somebody or to influence by trickery or flattery, and also the picture, of course, it indicates. But the funny part is that while beguile means to trick somebody, either by deception, the funny part is it's also it means to enchant somebody with irresistible charm or beauty. Like you could be beguiled by a supermodel also, or a beautiful place or idea can actually beguile you as much as or as easily as a person. So beguile does not always mean that the person or the thing that is beguiling you is tricking you, but there is a sense of enchantment that sort of takes away your normal powers of judgment, for that matter. Beleaguered, as you can see in the picture, is to persecute or to surround with military forces. But again, what you should know is that while beleaguered originally meant to lay siege to, and it originates from the 16th century Dutch term which meant to camp all around, but eventually its meaning has changed and it has also come to mean to harass or to bother somebody in some way or the other. That is to pester or to badger somebody, like a school teacher, she might find some annoying children who beleaguer her with requests for candies or cookies or things like that in the classroom. So that is also what beleaguered means. It does not necessarily only mean to surround with military forces. So you can remember that the word league, or league, league, that is there in the middle of beleaguered. So if you know the spelling of league, it'll be easier for you to remember the spelling of the word beleaguered. Next is beseech. Now, beseech, like if you're begging for something, but you just want to sound a little bit formal, a little bit old fashioned, then you just say, I beseech you to please do this. Or it just really just captures how urgent or desperate you are. And also, in some ways, instead of just like begging, you just save on your dignity a little bit by using the word beseech and not beg, literally. Next word is blasphemy, which, I mean, I'm sure in in newspapers and everything you keep reading that was a blasphemous comment. So it's anything that is related with profanity or something that is offensive, any offensive thing about God or religion, that is blasphemy. As simple as that. It's an insult to something that is held sacred by somebody, in simple terms. But here also, let me add that you can, sometimes people also use the word blasphemous jokingly. For instance, if your friend says that, hey, I don't like chocolate ice cream, and you supposedly love chocolate ice cream, and you're like, what? Are you saying that you don't like chocolate ice cream? That's blasphemous. So you just sometimes use the word jokingly also. Next, bystander. Very, very simple. Bystander, as the word and the name suggests, he does exactly what the word describes here. That is, they stand by and they watch whatever is happening by not participating or not getting involved in it. So you're just a chance spectator. Like, you will often hear this word, oh, that person was just an innocent bystander. So an onlooker is a bystander. Next, let's move on to C very quickly. Cajole. Do not confuse with the name of a certain Bollywood actress here. Cajole, in synonyms, we have mentioned beguile, but cajole can have other synonyms also in the sense it can be wheedle or coax somebody or to persuade somebody, basically, or someone to do something that they don't really want to do. Now, the funny part is, Cajole, it's like, please, will you do this? Pretty please, I will be your best friend if you do this. Please do this. Can you? I mean, come on. You besiege them to, sort of help you. So you're cajoling them, or you cajole somebody, or you persuade them, and by using some insincere compliments or promises. The word here that is slightly cut off, guys, is capricious, or CAPRICIOUS. Capricious is an unpredictable change, or crotchety, as the word suggests. Capricious, it's basically an adjective that describes a person or a thing that is very impulsive or unpredictable, like let's say a bride who suddenly just leaves the groom standing at the altar. बहुत सारी Bollywood movies में देखा होगा, you must have seen that, a bride just suddenly runs away, from in our Indian movies, the mandap. So that's a fickle-minded person, or that's an impulsive or a whimsical person. Other synonyms can be impulsive or whimsical. You're capricious. It can describe a person as well as, let's say, a quickly changing weather, like a capricious spring storm or winter rain or something like that. Chagrin. Chagrin basically is a noun that represents an emotion or a feeling, and it's an uncomfortable one. Let's say if you feel chagrin, it means that you're embarrassed or distressed because of some failure. It actually comes from the French word of the same spelling, and it means anxiety or vexation. So, chagrin, like we described, this person is probably feeling chagrin. He's mortified or annoyed, marked by disappointment or humiliation of some sort. The next word is condescend. Now, see here that, in condescend, it contains the word descend. So descend means to move down from a higher place. So you can think of condescend as lowering yourself to do a task that you feel is sort of beneath you. Like, let's say the kings and the queens would never condescend to do their own laundry at the palace, for instance. So you behave as though you are conscious of descending from a superior position or rank or dignity to a lower or a more inferior one. Again, beguile here would not necessarily be a sort of synonym that we can use. Maybe you can use the word like patronize, for condescend as a synonym. Confabulate. Confabulate is just a fancy way of saying talk. Like you can see all these women here, they are confabulating, or they're just conversing or chatting informally. Let's say if you're feeling formal, then you don't just chat with your best friend on the phone, you confabulate. Regular people talk, but fancy people, they confabulate. So it's just a word that you can use. It comes actually from the Latin word com, that means together, and fabulari, which means to talk. And also like how we say fables or tale. So I think that's how you sort of put the word together and you say confabulate. The next word is conjecture. Now, conjecture simply means to guess or to deduce or infer on slight evidence. It's a presumption. Let's say how we would say a statement, a sentence like statements should be based on facts and not conjecture. So you can see the word conjecture actually means that you can create a theory, like how we can see here. You can create a theory or an opinion about something without really basing it in fact, because the original definition of conjecture, that's from Old French, it actually means an interpretation of signs and omens. Now, obviously, signs and omens, they are subjective, right? So whatever sense you make of it, somebody else might make a different sense of it. Like how you can say maybe some weather reports are conjectures, even though they are based on facts. Some people might just say, oh, they're just conjectures. There's no real truth based in them. Consecrate. Consecrate basically means to make holy or to dedicate to a higher purpose. You need to consecrate a building to turn it into a church, or you need to consecrate, let's say, a week in New Delhi to find like the perfect chart. So like, okay, how do I explain these two meanings here? So the meaning of words, they tend to stretch over time, right? So while consecrate would mean dedicated to God or something sacred, eventually it means it is dedicated to anything or devoted to anything. Let's say consecrated a week in New Delhi, like I said, to find the perfect plate of chaat. You devote a week, or you commit to that thing. Construe is the last word here, which means to interpret or to explain. Now, if you interpret something or make sense of it, you construe its meaning. Let's say if there's a girl in your class who's asking you, to sit with her for lunch, it means you can construe that she wants to be friends with you. That is to decipher or to explicate as synonyms. Guys, I hope this is helping you. I'll quickly move on to the next in the coming lesson. Thank you.